Hello, this is Mark Hubbs with Aris Gone Bullet Molds. This is my Colt Walker. There are many like it, but this one is mine. As you know, there's scores and scores of videos on YouTube concerning the Colt Walker just because of its popularity. And I've had one for quite a while, but I've been resistant to make a video on the Colt Walker for that very reason. However, I've had several people ask me to do so, mainly in regards to the new Colt Dragoon bullet that Aris Gone has recently come out with. So that's what we'll be doing today. My Colt Walker is an Uberti. It's relatively old. It was made in the 1980s, but until today it had never been fired. I bought it as part of a case set for a song last year. Never had really been in the market for a Walker until that time frame, but I couldn't pass up a complete case set with an extra cylinder for $300. Since that time, I've done a couple things to alter it. I've put a taller front sight on it because these notoriously, like all black powder revolvers, tend to shoot high. Hopefully that will fix that problem. And I've also opened up the loading port so it can take more or different types of conical bullets. The way it was set up originally from the factory, it took a very pointed, very sharp conical bullet, very similar to the original, or a round ball, but it wouldn't take my Johnston Dow or the Colt Dragoon bullet. But with just a little bit of meat taken off on either side of the loading port, not the length, but on the bottom on either side, it now takes both of those types of conicals. So we're going to go to the range in a few minutes and see how it does with the Johnston Dow, the Colt Dragoon bullet, and also the round ball. Stick with us. Here we are at Swan Creek Range. It's about 7:45 in the morning. It's already nearing 80 degrees. Promises to be another sweltering hot summer Alabama day, but hopefully we can get a little footage here before it gets too hot. We'll be talking about the Colt Walker today, and as a reminder, this is an unfired gun. I've had it for about a year. I've never put a round through it, but it's a very old gun. It was made around 1982 by Uberti. Never had a round through it. We're going to test it today with the Aris Gone Dragoon bullet and also the Johnston Dow bullet. And also, the older Ubertis had a much slower twist in the rifling. This is a 1 in 30 twist instead of the 1 in 18, which Uberti has made for about the last 10 years for all of their 44 revolvers. So we're going to see how well the slower twist stabilizes these large bullets. And this is the same twist that Pieta uses in all of its 44, so it may be a good indicator for that also. So without further ado, we'll start loading up and putting some rounds downrange. I'm loading with 40 grains of 3F powder, and you'll see that I'm using the flask to fill the measure. And if I don't weigh a charge, I use a measure just to make sure my charges are consistent. Now, some people load directly from a flask. I just feel that it doesn't always give you the most consistent charge. I pour the powder in, seat the bullet on top of it, and in this case I'll put my home mixture of beeswax and mutton tallow over the bullet. I tried to use a fiber wad under the bullet, but found that there was not enough room to seat the bullet all the way below the chamber mouth with that fiber wad. I repeated this 4 times and then smeared my lube over the top of the bullet. So as I mentioned, I'm using 40 grains of 3F underneath the Dragoon bullet, and my target frame is set up 20 yards downrange. And you'll see my new camera lens that I'm experimenting with is having a little trouble with the focus. The smoke played havoc on it. Hopefully I can figure that out for future videos. The recoil was stouter than I expected, and I assume that was because of the weight of the bullet at 259 grains. The square back trigger guard on a Walker will bust your knuckles if you're not careful. I'm sure that's why the third model Dragoon was produced with a round back trigger guard for that very reason.
It is a double action.
And this is the result. I was very pleased, very surprised too, that I got a 3 1/4 inch group with that big heavy bullet and the slow twist in the rifling. I really expected those bullets to be spread out. Also, the front sight that I put on the revolver seems to be right on target. I won't have to make any adjustments on it. I next tried our era's gone Johnston Dow Civil War era conical. These are .460 and weigh 217 grains. And I used these with these quick loaders that I developed. I made these up when I was shooting for NSSA. This is essentially a piece of vinyl tubing with a wooden plug at the end. It's 3/8 inch inside diameter. I can pre-measure the powder charge and friction fit the bullet into the end. So at the range, all I have to do is yank the bullet out and pour the powder. Of course, it's not authentic at all, but it is very handy if you need to have loads that are made up and ready to go. And there was room for a lubricated fiber wad under this shorter J&D bullet. Another problem I found with this old Uberti is the diameter of the cones or nipples. They're smaller than later guns, and the caps kept falling off. Even if I tried to squeeze them together, the recoil would just jump the caps right off the nipple. What I realized eventually is I need CCI number 10s for this revolver. CCI number 10s have a slightly smaller inside diameter than Remington 10s or Remington's 11s or CCI 11s for that matter.
You put in the same hole, didn't you?
Right next to the thing. Trigger on this thing is really stiff.
I got it. Bracket.
Caps fell off.
Uh-oh.
And here's the result. It's a 5.5 inch spread. And I did use lubricated wads under the bullets this time, and I really think that degraded the accuracy. I think if I'd used lube over the bullets, I'd had better luck, and that's what I'll do next time when I try the J&Ds. Still at 20 yards, that 5.5 inches is really not a horrible group. I next tried a cylinder full of 4.57 round balls cast from that I cast myself from a Lee mold over a fiber wad and 40 grains of 3F powder. And this was the load I really expected to be most accurate. I was very surprised and disappointed to see how poorly it shot with these round balls. They all went very low and to the right. Only 3 of the 5 hit the paper. The other 2 went underneath. And maybe the fiber wads interfere with the accuracy.
That was a round ball.
Yeah. Doing real good.
Not good at all.
Yeah, and I think maybe that long jump. I tried the round balls again, this time again with 40 grains, and then a 15 grain by volume equivalent of cream of wheat, the bullet, and then my grease on top of the bullet to see if there would be any difference. And by the way, there was a significant difference in the felt recoil between the round balls and the heavy Dragoon bullets, which I expected.
Wow,
There you go. Yeah, here you go.
that's a handful.
Yeah. You'll know
God.
the trigger's pretty heavy too.
Yeah, that is a handful.
After the caps jumped off for the last time and I recapped it, my buddy Doug decided to give it a shot. And so he lined it up, and he was the only one that hit in the black with a round ball. He also was a little bit surprised at the weight of the trigger. It'll go. You actually got in the black. I've always thought that round balls would be inherently more accurate in a cap and ball revolver than conicals, but I may be wrong, at least in this one particular revolver. You can see the results of the two strings here. Not very impressive with the 4.57 round balls. Every revolver needs to have a load worked up for it for whatever projectile you're shooting, and my Walker's no exception. But generally, I think I may be sticking with the heavy Dragoon bullet for this one. I hope you've enjoyed our video. If you have any comments, please leave them below. And subscribe if you have not done so. And like us if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.